Hi everyone, it's Belinda. I was recently tagged by a couple of people to do a 2011 favorites and must-haves video, so I'm going to jump right in. I've picked out my top 20 items and I'm going to show them to you in no particular order. Number 1 is my craft mat right here. This is definitely a must-have for me, and its partner is Tim Holtz Distress Ink and an applicator, so those definitely are on my must-have list. Also on my must-have list is Claudine Helmuth multi-medium, matte medium, in a matte, sorry. And this is my all-time favorite liquid glue. It is Art Glitter's Designer Dries Clear Adhesive. This glue has a very fine applicator tip, so I'll show you one of the things I really use this with. But this is definitely a must-have. This has to be on my work table. Let's see. My Stickles favorite color, platinum. I go through this pretty regularly, so that's my definitely a must-have. I'm a glitter girl all the way. I think I have glitter in my veins, so glitter is definitely a must-have for me. These are my 3 favorite colors from 2011. This one is called Fairy Dust Glitter and the color is Donna Salazar's color. Look how pretty that color is. Look how pretty that glitter is. So there's that one. An Art Institute Ultrafine Brown. And then this one is Diamond Clear Cool Highlight. This glitter is really pretty. When you put it over the top of a stamped image or designer paper, you can still see the image underneath it. So I really like this glitter, and I pair it with this glue. It's the Scrap Happy Sheer Glue by the Rubber Cafe. This glue is really cool. I'm enjoying using these 2 items together, and if you go to their website, therubbercafe.com, you'll see a lot of ways to use this glue and glitter. Another way that I add glitter to my work is with these jelly roll pins. Those are definitely a must-have. And here's some of the colors that you're seeing, and you can see the sparkle from those pens. So normally what I do is, as I'm working with some designer paper, and if I want to give a little extra pop to a section of my layout or on a tag or a stamped image, I will use one of these pens in some of these pretty colors just to add a little bit of extra sparkle and pop. So those are definitely always on my work table. I have a couple of other tools I'll share with you. One is my Quickie glue pen. Again, when I use all this glitter, it helps to have a glue pen handy. The other one is my little craft knife. It is disguised as a little pen. The knife pops right out of the end here. I got this from Paper Wishes when I went to the girls' getaway retreat that they had in October. So I really love that tool. Definitely on my list this year are fab scraps. I love fab scraps. I've recently ordered these metal embellishments. Love them. You get a nice assortment. Let me pull one out of here. Different shapes. You can ink these. You can use embossing powder and enamel them. There's a great assortment there. And there's the antique gold assortment. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Or this one. You can layer a flower over the top of this and it's beautiful. Or you can put some flat back pearls in here and create a little, like an antique brooch look. So definitely love my fab scraps. And let's see. Punches. These are I use a lot of punches in my work, so I have a pretty good assortment, but this is my favorite set. This is from Martha Stewart. You'll often see me use this on the corners of a photo mat, and I just love the around the corner set, so those are definitely a must-have as well. On my list are my foil tags. I use these almost on every single project I do. I love the variety of looks that you can get with these. You can emboss them, alcohol ink them, you can stamp on them. Sorry for the glare, but these are definitely must-haves. Laser cut chipboard is definitely a must-have for me. This one is a Dusty Attic chipboard cut. It's got a relief piece in the back and then the higher piece or the more fine piece that lays over the top of it. So I would say that's definitely a must-have for me. I'm going to chime in like everybody else did, and you always have to add Recollections to the list. I think Recollections is amazing. I love the sales that they have and nice variety that they've offered. So these are my just some recent purchases from Recollections. I always love these little boxes of self-adhesive trim, and this is my #1 favorite piece. I'm hoarding this. I have 3 of them, but I just love this shabby chic look. So that is Recollections. Definitely on a favorites list. No favorites list would be complete without Prima. I've got another one over here somewhere. I must have got away. So Prima definitely is on everybody's favorite list, right? How can you not fall in love with all the beautiful colors, the flowers, the trims? So there's my Prima. Okay, this trim is on my list for one of my top favorite trims of the year. Let me get some pieces out of the way here. I bought this at the Scrap Expo when it was here in Portland, and I got it in a couple of different colors. It's beautiful like this, but what I really like about it is you can cut it apart and you can get some really pretty, by cutting around 7 roses, you get a really pretty flower like this. You can put a bling or a pearl in the middle. Or if you want a smaller flower, you can just cut one of those off and you get a small flower like this. So definitely, this is one of my all-time favorite trims. I love this stuff. I hope they come back to Portland at the Scrap Expo in March, because I would definitely buy more of this. Also on my favorites for 2011 is seam binding. Okay, let me back that up and say I've seen a lot of other of the 2011 favorites and must-have videos, and they include Lindy Stamp Gang. I don't have any Lindy Stamp Gang. I haven't tried it yet, and here's why. I have almost 50 bottles of Glimmer Mist, and I've sort of promised myself that I will use up more of my Glimmer Mist before I start buying another line of a spray. So I have to use my Glimmer Mist first because I've already bought it. But what I really like about it is I just squirt some of this into a little sandwich baggie with some slightly dampened seam binding, and I dye it all different kinds of colors. So I'll show you one of those. And then I crunch it up and let it dry on my craft mat, and then store it in these little paint cans. And I usually group them by color family. So I have several different paint cans, but you can see you get some beautiful colors, and they're kind of pretty when they're stored. So even on a day where I'm not feeling particularly creative, I can come into my studio and cut up some seam binding, use up some of my Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist so that I can someday buy some Lindy Stamp Gang. So next on my list is, let's do these, dies. Love to use dies. This one is one of my favorite dies of 2011. This was a Boss Cuts die. It was a poinsettia. I cut this from the American Craft glitter paper and then just put a brad through them. So really like that poinsettia die, and I used it a lot this year. So dies are #1, but this one is not necessarily, I mean, this is one of my favorite dies, but I'll show you what I'm really hooked on this year. Totally went over the top for memory box dies. I guess I took it upon myself and my personal mission to just buy as many of these dies as I could. I love them. They're beautiful dies. They cut well. Very unique designs, and I'll show you just a few of them. There's this one. This is my absolute favorite. And there's snowflakes. And another really cool thing about these dies is for some of them, they have stamps that coordinate with the die. So I do have the journaling stamp that goes with this die. And I'll just pull out a couple of these. There's that wreath. This is the butterfly. There's an overlay and a solid back. And some ribbon slides. There's a Christmas tree. This is a beautiful one. I'll show you the cut pieces in a minute. There's another couple of dies that also have coordinating stamps. So memory box dies is definitely very, 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 very high on my favorites list for 2011. And I'll just go through some of these real quick. Whoops. So this is why I really like this Dries Clear designer adhesive, because it works fabulously on all these little tiny pieces, these very delicate pieces where you've got to, have a lot of surface to glue. So these are all memory box die cuts. And this branch might be one of my favorites. I just love how that looks. And there's a really pretty corner. And a tree. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so that's one of my favorites. Absolute have to have are dies. Next, 2011 is the year I fell back in love with my Cricut machine. It sort of for a while sat over in the corner of my studio, a little bit neglected, a little bit dusty, and then I picked up some new cartridges and just fell in love with my Cricut all over again. I have a lot more cartridges than this, but these really have come very handy lately. Let's just say that, and I have used them often. So I would definitely put my Cricut back on the favorites list for this year, and I'm gonna just really work on using it a lot more. For any of you that saw my one and only haul video, I discovered Hobby Lobby in 2011. There are none near where I live, so I had to travel to Boise, Idaho to see a friend, Jann, and I went to Hobby Lobby and went crazy. So this represents one of the items that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. Really loved it. It's a very pretty lacy napkin ring, but I used it on my Halloween banner. Loved the way it looked. So Hobby Lobby absolutely goes on my list. There are now, I think there's now one Hobby Lobby about 3 hours away from me. So if I head up to Seattle, I can make a field trip to Hobby Lobby. Okay, this is another item that goes on my favorites list. This is my Sure Bonder small tip or micro tip glue gun. Have to have this. This is a must-have in my studio. I love it. Okay, we're getting near the end. I think pretty much all we have left is paper. So I'm admittedly a paper junkie and have way more paper than I would ever use, but can never seem to say no to the latest and greatest collections. My favorites from 2011 were the Printery, My Mind's Eye, Lost and Found 1 and 2. I love those papers. And then I fell in love with Glitz. So Glitz design beautiful papers and some very awesome die cuts and acetates. So Glitz goes on my list. I said I'm a girl that loves a lot of bling, so this paper went into my most favorites as well. This is DCWV Glitzy Glitter Stack. I'm going to just thumb through here really quick so you can kind of see some of these papers. Yummy! Oh, that's pretty. So, glittery, blingy, shiny, and this is really smooth. It's not like it doesn't come off. So this is great paper. So that is DCWV. And then, let me grab this. This may be one of my, if I were to name my top 3 must-haves, this would be in the top 3. This is cardstock, or it's actually like report cover that I used to purchase at a local office supply company. just went out of business last week, so I'm not sure where I'm going to get my fix on this after I've exhausted my supply. But what I usually, this is just kind of the sheets that come out of the package. This gold one is 105 pound cover, so it's thicker than traditional cardstock, but my memory box dies still do a really good job on them. So do my spellbinders, that's a spellbinders. That one's a spellbinders. So they cut really good out of this thicker paper, and it has a lot more weight. So I like to use some of my die cuts for pockets, and this gives you enough weight to do that. So this one was 111 pound, 130 pound, and 105 pound. So they're nice, heavy cards, like a cardstock, but this has a beautiful sheen to it. This yummy chocolate brown has a really pretty texture. This graphite, I have got this kind of paper in dozens and dozens and dozens of colors. It is absolutely one of my staples. I use this in every single project in one of these colors or one of my other colors. Guaranteed, in every single project I do, there is something of this paper in there. I'll just go through real quick with this. This was just I just wanted to show off this glitter a little bit because it is so pretty. So this was one of the die cuts, and I used my glue pen and just went around the highlighted areas after I embossed it. And then this was a Spellbinders die cut border, and I covered it with this sheer glue, let it get tacky, and then rubbed in this clear, whoops, grabbed the wrong one, this clear glitter, and you can see the gold color shows through it. So gotta have my glitter. I love those pieces. And I think I got through my list really fast. The last thing that I didn't mention that's on my list, and it means a great deal to me, is YouTube, and everybody on YouTube. That's such a great community out there. I really love the videos that everyone does. It's such a fun place to go and share ideas and get inspiration, and hopefully you enjoy the items that I've shown you, and I really do appreciate the comments that you leave. Stay tuned. I have some more videos coming up along with an exciting announcement. So I expect I'll have a couple more videos out next week. Happy 2012. I hope you like my must-have list for last year, and can't wait to see what everyone else has. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to name 5 people. So I'm going to tag Robyn from her YouTube is Injoystampin. Jann Nyers, her YouTube is yorkieyodaldog. Ginger, Mysistersscrapper, and Regan from Emora Designs, and Tim Coffey. Happy New Year.